Hey guys, here at Table Rock Lake for stage 6 of the Bass Pro Tour, and tournament's over for me. Made it to the knockout round again, but sucked again. And I think it was due to the weather, just like Smith, those storms and stuff. I don't know, but everything changed on me. Still managed to get the bites, make the right decisions, but sometimes it just doesn't fall your way. So I lost 1.5 million fish today, and you can't do that. So here's the deal. I wanted to go over what I was doing to catch the fish. I was catching quite a few. I had 2 rocks that I found, isolated rocks on a gravel point way up the White River, and I was running the furthest of anyone in the tournament, so they tell me. And in the morning I was catching them fast and furious. The first day I caught 20 fish and left them biting. Second day I caught 15 and left them biting. And then in a knockout round, for some reason I pulled those fish off. They all followed out, and I caught 12 off of it, and it was over. I thought I would be able to sit there and catch 30 or more. I didn't know, because there's a bunch of them there. But after I caught that last one, they all got under the boat and got spooky, and I couldn't catch them anymore. So came back at the end of the day and caught one more, but that was it. So in the morning, using a spinning rod, which is pretty rare for me unless I'm drop shotting on Lake Erie. But this is the prototype and the Envy, and I promise you, when you put this in your hand, you're gonna know that it's the best feeling outfit that you've ever held. It's super, super light, and cork drag, which is pretty cool. Something different. It's a real smooth reel. I love it a lot. Coming from, using Sustains and Stratics for years and years, I can really appreciate how awesome this reel is. You'll love it too. Envy, what I was using, this is a 7-1 medium, fast action. I'm using braid that is made by Suffix. It's called Nano Braid, not to be confused with Nano Fill. Very bad. This is Nano Braid. Not one negative comment you will ever hear about this. Once you use it, you'll be blown away. It's the smoothest, silkiest line. If you need to cast really, really far, you're just not going to believe how awesome this line handles on your reel. So Nano Braid, this is the jig head. I like the hammerhead, as you know, when it comes to little worms and stuff like that, made by Fish Head. This is a Boss, and I'm not sure what he calls this, but the best little jig head for a real Senko. And the reason is it's got the screw, and the screw is longer than most other screws. So with this Yamamoto plastic, I can put this 3-inch Senko on here and not have to worry about it, flying off or breaking in half or whatever. So you literally just screw it on there and you're good to go. Senkos are tough with the other jig heads with the little keeper on them, because you're always ripping them down. This way I can catch several fish on one bait. So that's the deal right there. Making it straight as possible. 3-inch Senko. Orange and purple glitter. Green pumpkin, orange and purple. And that was the deal. I was catching a ton of fish on this. They can't resist it. One thing I like to do is get it all kind of messed up. It lightens the color a little bit, makes it look like it's been chewed on, but for whatever reason the fish like that. And that was my setup for the deeper spotted bass. Those fish were in 25 feet of water, and they were loaded. So unfortunately that place dried up on me. After that, and then when one broke, instead of throwing a redfin or something like that, or a wake bait, this was magical, and I can cast this really far, again because of the Nano Braid. Back to this, I was using 10-pound Nano Braid with a 15-foot 8-pound Suffix fluorocarbon leader. This I'm using 8-pound Nano Braid, very thin, silky. I'm using a longer rod. This is a 7.5 light, It's a fast rod. It's a fake chrome. Totally different lineup, but this rod is really long, really light, and I can cast this weightless Yamamoto grub really far. You'd be blown away. I use a little tiny swivel up there. I'd say that's about a 5 or 6 inch leader, as short as I can make it. A 1/0 Nico rig hook from VMC, and I thread that thing up there. This Nico hook, I don't want to ruin this, but the Nico hook has some fluorocarbon up here on it, that acts like a keeper. And I put a little bit of super glue on there and thread that up there just like a jig head. And it really works great for those schooling fish. I mean, every single fish that I see, if I can get this bait to them and just reel it real slow across the surface, they can't resist it. Every single one of them bites it. So caught quite a few doing that as well. Wired to Fish did a video with me on that technique. You can Google search it and find it. And then everything else was about bushes and losing fish, just not going my way. There's things you can't, in other sports you can practice getting better at whatever you sucked at in whatever game. You can watch game tape and get better. This you can't. I found out that I'd try to make my first few pitches around these bushes on the outside, and if one swam out and got it, I caught him. But it seemed like you had to throw it over top of something and yo-yo it up and down. You had to throw over a limb or a branch or a log, whatever it was, you had to throw over it. And it became obvious to me in practice that was the deal. I was using a screw lock in practice and never set the hook on any fish. And every single waypoint I went to in the tournament I caught, similar to Smith Lake. But these are the three other outfits that I had out. And you'll notice they're all Senkos. This is the new Inception SZ. Love this reel. They're all 8-to-1s, really fast. And I had 3 different weights. So this one was thinner cover. This is a 3/16 ounce tungsten weight. New weights made by drawing a blank. Fishing Online weights right here. You want the cheapest, best quality. I've been using these for a little while now. I didn't break any of these off. These are weights that I used for 3 days. Paint's still good. Never had any break-offs or anything like that. But I'm using a 3/16 with a 3/0 wide gap VMC hook. Taking a Senko, cutting about an inch off, and I figured out this the first day of the tournament. They weren't biting the craw that I was flipping around, and I just switched over to this without a bite in an hour and got a bite on my first flip and started catching them. So switched to the Senko, green pumpkin, nothing fancy, cutting an inch off, matches the weight, just sits up on the head better. And those fish were short striking a little bit, so you wanted something short. 20-pound test. All the rods are the same, all the reels are the same. This is a 7-11 heavy, best flipping stick I've ever had in my hand. They're all the same. 20-pound Suffix fluorocarbon. I had a 3/16 ounce weight with a 3/0. This is a 5/16 ounce weight with a 3/0. And then this is a 1/2 ounce weight with a 4/0. Also got a 3/4 in there, but I ended up never using it. And that's what I was flipping around those bushes. So, and unfortunately, that's why I lost so many fish this week. You had to really take chances, and sometimes it just goes perfectly. Those fish fly out of that bush, and other times you're just totally hung up and they splash around for 2 seconds and they're gone. So that's what I did this week. Had a very good first 2 days. Last day, knockout round didn't go so well. I don't think I'm going to make the 3rd cup in a row. I'm going to be a little bit short, just by a few points, probably 8 points or so out. But I made the first 2. So far the year's looking good. We're getting ready for Grand Lake. Water's super high, so hopefully they don't cancel or postpone the event. We'll see what happens. We're kind of waiting to hear. But Table Rock Lake, pretty good overall. This is the Rock View Resort right on the lake, perfect for bass fishermen. There was 5 of us staying here. All of us made the knockout round too, which was pretty cool. So that's it. See you next time.